Post it on the Instagram. Promises this would work. But you know, the world promises you.
Oh.
I don't know, there's like a little pouch in there. And I feel like, do I pop it? Should I give it like a good...
I think you give it a good pop. Oh.
You really don't, that's not jingle.
This jingle thing we're gonna do all morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're getting this out of the way earlier.
We're all gonna sit here till it clicks.
Yeah, so thank you all for coming. I'm still at the third one in disbelief that a lot of people will come to my living room on a Sunday morning for something called Gentle Hour. It is, yeah, restores my faith in the world that we live in. I'm not going to ramble on too much. I'm thankful for everyone coming and for everyone who submitted. And if you're interested in submitting, there's ways to do that, and we'll talk about it at the end. But for the time being, Sam, do you want to play with that until can I get a towel? There should be one hanging somewhere over there. Going. Just tap water. Oh.
I popped it.
You popped it.
Hey, what's up?
Well, let's put it on the cake and see what happens. I was promised by multiple people that this will be more. Oh. Yeah,
Something's.
Let's get this thing rolling. Without further ado, let's give a round of applause to
Hello, everyone. So this is going to be a staged reading of draft 1 of a little script about interfaces between people and computers, and I guess people and people is somewhere in there. But first of all, I need it's going to have a little audience interaction. So I'll be reading the stage directions, and I'll also be reading the part of the virtual host of a wizard application. But I first off need someone to stand in for the computer. Okay, he's in the audience. And then you should know in the script when you should flip it around and show the audience. Because the audience you are all the user. And also, when I say that the user performs an action, like double clicking, could you like say double click in unison? Is that okay? Can we practice that? Sorry, I'll say something like the user double clicks the icon.
Double click.
Double click.
Do you want double click or click click?
Ooh, can we do click click?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Can you grab my phone for
And
me?
then, so we'll practice click click real quick. So the user clicks the icon.
Click click.
Click, click.
Yeah, great. So this is called At Ease, Complete Operations LLC. Last Will and Testament Wizard. And it's funny is that Rich will do this. We see the desktop of an operating system. The audience, as the user, clicks the file folder by saying click, click.
Click, click.
The folder turns around to reveal the title, Last Will and Testament. Waiting in the wings stands a Complete Operations LLC, Last Will and Testament virtual host. A virtual cat meows. After double-clicking the cat, so this is a part that I didn't bring, preparation for, but just envision it in your heads. After double-clicking the cat icon, thank you so much. After double-clicking the cat icon,
Click.
a cat's ball-shaped application window opens. There's an engraving on the paw device which reads, Petey the Cat. An idling animation GIF of a real cat plays within the window. At the bottom of the window sit 3 options, food, play, and stats. The user clicks the food bowl.
Click, click.
In the window, a video of somebody pouring food into the bowl. The cat eats this food. When the cat finishes eating, the user pets it by hovering the cursor over the cat. So say pet, pet. Pet, pet.
Pet, pet.
The user floats. Hello. Welcome to your Last Will and Testament. I'm your host, and I'm here to guide you in this exciting process. Let's begin. First, what is your name? I'm sorry, I could not find that username in our database. I'm sorry, I could not find that username in our database. I'm sorry, I could not find that username. Ah, there it is. Where were you born? Well, yee-haw! Say hi to a cactus for me before you ride toward that lonesome moon, partner. What is your annual income? Okay. How many times did you innovate in the workplace? Do you owe money? That's okay. You are still important. Without those at the bottom, those at the top would have no one to compare themselves to. What's your favorite sound? Please describe using this. If you have a funerary playlist, please upload it now. Oh, don't worry about it. A Complete Operations LLC Life Adventure Soundtrack Specialist will contact you in 3 business days to discuss our options. Are you a member of... You wish to donate your organs? How would you like to dispose of your mortal remains? These options will... Ah, ecologically friendly choice. Complete Operations LLC salutes your dedication to our environment. Please take some time now to list your most valuable possessions. The user types computer, so I guess just say the word computer.
Computer.
Great! Thank you. Do you have children? Noted. Are you the legal guardian of anyone? Godparent? No dependents. Are you married? Okay. Do you have any next of kin? I'm sorry, but that is an unacceptable answer. Are you sure? I'm sorry, but that is an unacceptable answer. Are you sure? That is an unacceptable. Are you any loved ones at all? Okay. I've added Complete Operations LLC Life Adventure Hotline as your emergency contact number. And next. Virtual host exhales, wipes forehead, then turns to another, identical host. Did you get the next one? I'm a little shaken up from this last testator. The other host, also me. Sure. Thanks. The host exhales, gets up. The other host hears the chime, ding, then travels down the information super hallway to serve another testator.
On the 4th day of the storm, I watched an old jogger float over. He carried a dead grapple in his mouth, and when the sweat trickled down, "This is the new norm," my neighbor said. Ah, yes, I remembered. I'm here with my neighbor. He pulled a feather from his mouth. Global warming, he said. He dug a pit in the garden to keep it. 4. My mom shoots sparrows through the kitchen window with a squirt gun. She's a bird lover. She breeds mealworms for the chickadees and titmice, bluebirds, catbirds, and orioles, and fills the orange dishes in her bird garden every morning. Yesterday it stormed. Wind threw the porch swing over the deck rail and capsized a planter of bat flowers and coral honeysuckle she grows for the hummingbirds. Limbs from the backyard sassafras flew over the roof to the front yard cedar. Storms passed, and once upon a time disasters and local bird history. A paradise of mealworms and grape jelly, suet and sunflower seed appears and they eat. They bathe in the rippled glass bird bath. Goldfinches fight their small territorial fights. Grackles and crows set down on feeders that close against their weight. House sparrows, which oust grown birds and babes from their nests, then seize the nests, learn to flee from the strange, hard, horizontal rain that comes from nowhere they go. 5. Houston, swamp autumn cool. Sweat, rain, the promise of rain. But stores open, extend their hours, hire seasonal help to stock milk. This morning I watched an old jogger float home from the park. He carried a dead grackle in his mouth. All the live birds froze in the trees. We keep the lights on all night, drink red wine. If the rain comes, catching us outside, we run, laughing over our shoulders. Fast, I'm too fast for you, love. Tomorrow the woman next door will leave home with a parcel. If only it were a child. Hold on to my neck, she could say, and it would, and lay its head on her shoulder and conform its body entirely to hers. 6. A red dress and a hotel fountain leads into a morning, then is gone. 7. Cacophony of particles, I am here, sleepless as you. The moon withdraws behind the house across the street. The sun has not yet risen. Listen, I am here, unformed, though not unformed as you. Between ourselves, this waiting takes a shape more kin to you than me. Sometimes it shades, sometimes it shadows. Now, though, there is no light to pin the shadows down. This interstitial rhyme of you with nothing wears me sheer until I sleep. I sleep to make you sleep. You sleep your peace into my home and trouble me unconscious till I wake. And when I wake, you sing. My house assumes a settled pose. A ghost of you relaxes through its rooms. Your gesture is the curtain's sudden breath, the light bulb's fluster. My house is yours. I'm just, I wake, I stay awake, I sleep and sleep. 8. Can you see the fires from where you are? 9. Couples hustled their cowering dogs. Home, home, they said. Home. Home, I said. Home. For a moment, the street grappled with neighbors pulling trash bins home from the curb. We are learning our lessons. We are playing tricks on the rain. I love you, we say, then duck inside, laughing over our shoulder. Too fast. I'm too fast for you, love. 10. It must be a huge warehouse in the middle of the desert. It's a warehouse in the middle of the desert. It's a warehouse in the desert painted to match the sand. The walls will always feel hot against my hand. The hot wall feels sticky and sharp, latex on stucco on brick. Inside, an agent of the escalator safety board suggests, look down, look only at the step you're on, forget the mirrored walls. As endless seconds pass, as we descend, and here we are. Black goose, I say, turkey face, and so it is. Greening near the monument. I watch it green in the shadow, corpse swing rock itself. Barbed wire over the backyard fence. Barbed wire coils over the fence. And floodlights arrive, and trucks, and the helicopter travel on it. And the trees. Light comes from a source that they can't find.
I have a little recording to go with it. Okay. Starts with a life is a matter of form. That is the hypothesis we associate with the venerable philosophical and geometric term sphere. It suggests that life, the formation of spheres, and thinking myself. To put it very simply, Bragg Road is an 8-mile stretch of dirt road in Hardin County, where balls of light are known to emerge from the tree line at night and proceed to move around with apparent intelligence. Sometime in June 2018, for some reason, a friend of mine agreed on the 2-hour drive into nowhere to try to see a ghost light. And so CJ and I climbed into his truck and made the trip out to Bragg Road from Houston on a Wednesday night. Houston is a sprawling city. The word city isn't even really the right word to describe an entity like Houston, which has a rather small and barren-looking downtown area, but a square mileage that could envelop the areas of Boston, San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Seattle put together. For people who have become accustomed to the neatly planned and zoned cities like the pipsqueaks mentioned above, Houston is simply overwhelming. It spills out across interstates and subdivisions, Best Buys and overpasses, with no elevation and nothing but a distant, soupy gulf to rein it in any direction. Houston is a region unto itself. The city of Houston is structured, both socially and physically, around the energy industry. The economic gravity of oil and gas draws human beings in like Jupiter attracts moons and maintains them in the neat highway perimeters that locals refer to as the inner and outer orbits, as though they were referring to asteroid belts or inner or outer loops. If one is traveling from downtown Houston to the east, towards Bragg Road, for example, it takes about 45 minutes for the sprawl to finally yield to something more conventionally suburban, and then perhaps another 15 to 30 for the suburbs to disperse into the kind of small towns that are typical throughout East Texas. Shabby, proud, suspicious, sparse, diverse, with extravagant, palatial even, high school football stadiums. Somewhere further to the north and to the east, things become even sparser, and small towns give way to patches of RVs and old ranch houses and bungalows tucked away in the deep woods. Now you're in the big thicket. Above, I wrote found myself in, rather than arrived, because the borders of the big thicket are indeterminate. The big thicket is nowhere, precisely. For some, the thicket might reach all the way past Beaumont and I-10 to the south, all the way to the brown waters of the continent's third and wildest coast. For others, the thicket is a dense but small patch of hyper-biodiverse territory encompassing no more than a few hundred square acres in a federally recognized national preserve within Hardin County. Biologists generally consider the big thicket to be among the most biodiverse places in North America, and people who pay attention to the paranormal consider it to be as haunted as any place in the world. And while people disagree on where the big thicket starts and stops today, They all agree that it's gotten smaller since Europeans arrived and began trimming away at the edges. They also agree that the little village of Saratoga and the home of Bragg Road is roughly its epicenter. CJ and I had left Houston around 6 in the afternoon, trying to beat the sunset on the Bragg Road. Since we skipped dinner and arrived with a bit of time to spare, we pulled into the parking lot of a store outside the tiny town of Village Mills for a snack. As we walked in, the woman behind the counter immediately recognized us as being from somewhere else. A classic social category in small-town Texas, but not necessarily a bad one. This particular shop didn't have the supplies we were expecting, so we settled on a dinner of Slim Jims and Miller High Life before approaching the counter. The woman smiled brightly. "Where you boys coming from?" "We're up from Houston," I said, trying to reflect some of her warmth and charm. "What brings you up here?" "Well, we're here to check out Bragg Road," I told her, after looking at CJ, as a kind of warning that I intended to out us as the kind of foolish beings from somewhere else who believe in ghost stories. "Oh, God love you," she said. "Do you think we'll see anything?" I asked, trying to gauge how she was feeling and what her thoughts were on the ghost light. "Oh, everyone sees it," she said, without smiling, missing a beat or looking up from the register as she hammered numbers into the keypad. "Everyone sees the light on Bragg Road."
Good morning, I'm Harry. These are some poems from my iPhone. The weirdness. Strange matters in the universe. I don't need all this goo inside. My fleshy bloody parts evolving beyond the body. I want less pink shit, just more gray matter. The neurons make me believe that I'm still alive. Let's meet in the dream ether. I will be wearing the face of my human costume, and I hope you can be that nebulous being I like. A dusty cloud, colored like the universe. My lungs want your nimbus. Maybe we can be omnipresent, like we talked about. Finally understanding the vastness of life in a vacuum. Jaded extraterrestrials reveling in the satellite existence on a dwarf planet. For the rest of solar society deems we are not a part of any place. A demographic wasteland, an uncounted mass that might as well be Bedouins. Gilded tears stream liquid on alabaster cheeks. The cracking plaster feet are in upheaval as time burrowed itself into weak ankles. Freeloading in the cracks, inviting its grime to the wear-down rays, bad base and the foundations of a colossus. What was mistook as size was where the engineers put the cunning into optics. And the bagmen, the ones who live in the lofts above the piazza, or that oceanfront acropolis, skimped out on the bronze to pad the mattress. Comfort for cost-cutting. Not a wink lost as the dream of win-win lures them to consciousless sleep. Gold leaf flakes away at the feet crumbling. We sink as we wonder why it looks so much bigger in the brochures, until that perfect angle shows the masterpiece. Solitary cells persist without the need to bounce the membranes of their species. The amoeba takes the world into its body, false footing through the primordial goo until the split. Half becomes whole. We become different bodies with the same DNA. I want to be eaten whole, reverse mitosis. Everything which I have consumed will be absorbed. Give up our cellular programming and share this single cell. Supernovas in the microcosms of the universe, the little bang. Ripples become rogue waves on the outer rim of the infinite. Beyond the shores of this petri dish world, you and I will be polar torches, circumnavigating the familiar. Circles, chasing cars on loop to flee the romantic. Color in the blank spots. Purple and gold halos beating around red flesh. Tongues that spear into split sides. Crescendos in the scapula. Cliff hanging on the clavicle. Bearing down on the bones rib to rib. grinding down the skin, burnt skin and nothing, sacks of shit and cum fucks, busted nuts and torn pussy, eat the crumbs off the floor, fill ourselves with what is left, the indigestion of human feelings. Come hard for the ego death. Spare me my imagination and shut the door already. I will crawl upon the bodies of lovers and shoot that double-sided gun into first the stomach, the heart, then the neck. Our medieval humors spill out, down, choking the last lover. Let's make a mountain out of this room. I hit the red button. No alarms, just all sorts of silence. Vaporize. Time died. A broken clock. Gears turn into dust. Shiny specks of brass sparkles for the leftover dirt. Empty corner office in the sky. All that time in the elevator to realize that all they ever wanted was their head on the ground. I like to feed the buzzards, call it a carrion crush. Those treacherous brothers and sisters stir an awful soup in the sky. They find their music and sink, sink, sink. Thank you.
Hi. Elizabeth, I'm Elizabeth. Hi. I read last time the Thick Cookie story. So this is my sister over here, and she has no idea. I'll probably be making eye contact with her because she's featured in this story. She doesn't know. She has no idea. And I actually forgot what I wrote, so we're going to find out. Okay. Meditation sucks when you're on your period. Yes, these words of wisdom escaped my lips in a room full of 70 or so people of mixed sex. And what followed next? Friends. Yes, oui. Many friends. It appears people really want to know you when you share your deepest, darkest bodily experiences. If only dating apps could be this easy. Now I believe it is time after 35 years to give credit where credit is due. I would not have this abundance of friends, past lovers, current lovers, jobs, hobbies, you name it, if it weren't all for the love shared within the walls of the 3-bed, 2-bath, 1 TV loving structure currently located at 1712 Elk Street, Morgan City, Louisiana. So by now you have heard the word shared a few times, and rightly so. The definition of sharing is to have a portion of something with another or others, to split, to divide, to go halvesies in with. Oh, how sweet this idea of sharing sounds. Oh, how the concept of sharing was to teach us the many great lessons for our future life. Oh, how sharing screwed me. You see, sharing took on a life of its own in our home at 1712 Elk Street. I believe it influenced me to be the amazing woman I am today. You wish to know my secrets? Do you wish to know how to make your future kids amazing as well? Well, you're in luck. It is time to take a ride down memory lane. Sharing story number 1, making groceries. The love in our house was felt differently than what I read in the Hallmark cards or the Lifetime saw on the Lifetime movies. It was different than the quiet conversations my sweet friend Lacey had with her mother and father. It was very different. I would dare to say the love I experienced was more of a, I love you, but I'm kicking your ass if you eat my cosmic brownie kind of love. The cosmic brownie. Do you remember it? Little Debbie? Yeah. She was the baker of those sweet, delicate corn syrup-filled treats. Little Debbie was the main star of our home. The second the bus-sized Dodge Ram van roared into the driveway and jolted to a screeching halt while honking uncontrollably, we knew a trip to Rouse's just went down. That's our grocery store in Morgan City. So those honks signified the sound of the gun starting the 200-yard sprint. We would dash to the van and tear open all of the plastic grocery bags to see who could first find that one single box of Little Debbie cosmic brownies. Sadly, Debbie never made it into the house. Rarely did the other groceries either. Mother thought she was doing something very kind for her children, to buy 1 box of 6 packaged candy-coated sweet treats for 5 growing children who would devour everything in sight. I wonder if Mother just wanted to see her own version of gladiators go down. We would fight and everyone would get their brownie. What happened to the sixth one? You ask, and no one really knows. See, I wisened up the fastest and would usually get to Debbie first. And we became fast friends because she was keen to my kind. I would take that bonus brownie, hide it in my bed for later, and I believe this secret of mine was kept for years until a friend slipped over, lay on my pillow, and woke up with smashed brownie on her cheek. I believe she never slept over again. So thank you, sharing. Thank you for teaching me the value of hoarding. I still to this day hide my chocolate from my sister in my house that I own with a job that affords me the best chocolate in the world. Why, oh why? Yeah. So if you were paying close attention, you put some of the puzzle pieces together by now. 5 kids, check. 3 bedrooms, check. 2 bathrooms, check. Total, that's 3 total rooms, clarified. Did I forget to mention the one landline phone that did not have call waiting? I did. There you go. Check, check, and check. You see, in a household where both parents are teachers and 5 kids reside, sharing was the norm and it was expected. There was not an option. So we shared everything from our underwear to the dirty bathwater. You balked at sharing the bathwater, but not sharing the underwear. Okay, interesting. Cue sharing story number 2, bathwater. This activity came from a good place. I was 8 years old, the oldest of the 5 kids, and I heard my parents arguing more than normal. I sensed the arguments centered around finances, and my brain went straight to, oh God, we are poor. We must help our parents save money. Now, what did we learn, okay, when we were 5, or when we were young, about saving money in the 80s? Turn off the lights and turn off the water. So therein lay my brilliant plan to get us out of extreme poverty. Mary Catherine, Kenneth, Vincent Lee, we need to talk. We are poor, we have no money. We have no mom and dad save money. Keep all the lights off, even if you're in the room. Open the blinds, and we will use the same bathwater. Cue skeptical looks, and rightly so. All 4 of them just found out that I was to always take the first bath. Then Mary Catherine, then Kenneth, then Vincent Lee. And I wonder how this has affected them to this day. I believe I am the only sibling who still likes to take a bath every day, come to think about it. Yeah, I wonder if they all just shower. I'll ask next Christmas. Okay, manipulation. Yes, manipulation. The second beautiful attribute sharing taught me to excel at. It is, yes, is this why I wanted to be a lawyer for the longest time? Okay. You're starting to understand the story now. I see it in your eyes. You're probably contemplating your own life experiences in the world of sharing and wondering if I am practicing my manipulation techniques on you now. I know, I'm wondering too. So, now we experience the world of sharing in many other ways Gen XYZ or whatever they are called would not understand, which is why I believe this next story is so valuable. Sharing story number 3, punishment. Yes, it is a thing. Gen XYZ. We were ironically always being reprimanded for a lack of sharing. Who are we kidding here? One Nintendo game, so this is an example. One Nintendo game that only allowed 2 players at a time. 5 kids? Okay. What happens when Luigi, me, dies in the first game that Mario, aka Kenneth, always survives to rescue the princess every single time? So where did your action-packed afternoon disappear off to? You better believe fighting went down, yes. We were the original Fight Club. The club only lasted so long because those, oh, sweet words, line up, turn around, will always ring in my ears and on my behind. Dad would enter with his weapon of choice, paddle belt, hand spatula, oh, that damn spatula. My mom, she tended to use that more often, which now makes sense, was practical. She was stirring the pot of spaghetti for our family dinner, and why not throw in the taste of fresh buns every now and then? Okay, back to the line. So we were all lined up, and the best moment is when Dad yells, Mary Catherine, you two, get in here! But Dad, I've been in my room. It wasn't me. Honestly, I believe she was actually next door. It doesn't matter. If it's one of you, it's all of you. Now that is what I call sharing. It taught me the value of working as a team. My career is forever grateful. Last story, sharing story number 4, spaces. As stated earlier, we had 2 bedrooms to share amongst the 5 of us at that time. Poor Kenneth stayed in the room with my sister and I up to the age of 3 or 4. And I have to wonder how much damage, apologies, influence, this hat on his current self. Yes, it will be a future story. Mary Catherine and I shared a room until the age, I want to say, of 16 or so. I do pity all she experienced. No two sisters could be more different, yet so close, obviously by geographical default. She slept on the bottom bunk, I the top. She was afraid of heights, you see, and up until this moment, I never realized this. But what happened when she had friends sleep over? I suppose we even shared friends. Well, there was a lesson hiding in there somewhere. But poor Mary Catherine, seriously. She was kind, caring, quiet, up until she started speaking. Introspective, determined. She rarely was punished. I was always punished. I had a smart mouth, which is the politically correct way to say that I was disrespectful, disobedient, a smartass with my parents. And I like to remember myself as more of a thinker, a challenger of life, you see. What is the harm in that? Back to sharing. One cozy afternoon, holed up in our 10 feet of shared space, Mary Catherine lay on her bottom bunk reading while I choreographed an entire song and danced to Boys to Men's All Around the World. Flip the cassette tape, fast forward. Flip the cassette tape back over. Play the 8 seconds again. London, Paris, Monte Carlo, Germany, and Rome. Repeat, repeat, repeat. I am positive the only move that evolved out of that 2-hour song and dance were right hand up, left hand up, right hand down, left hand down. My poor sister. Then there was Bone Thugs and Harmony, Spice Girls, and Gangsta Lean lyric learning, lessons for the future Grammy I was destined to win. The sad thing is, Mary Catherine enjoyed her Shania Twain and Tim McGraws of the world, yet we rarely heard those country beats when we were together in our room, which for me was 90% of my life. I suppose being the oldest once again had its benefits. Who would dare to stop the 100th replay of My Heart Will Go On? After her sister's boyfriend of the week left her for a girl who could actually go on dates. I mean, come on. The memories my sister and I, or the memories my sister has of me, when we share our room, will forever make me grateful we did not have Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. However, the adult problems I now face is that I truly believe it is okay to rap out a Bone Thugs and Harmony ballad with my adult friends at a cocktail party. Talent show at BP? Yes! What adult oil and gas industry professionals are not dying to share their deepest, darkest talents with their boss? Sharing, yes. You have once again created a learning opportunity for me in this adult life of mine. Now, as much as I would love to go on and on about the effects sharing has had in my life, I will save these stories for part 2 of this series. And you better believe my future husband is reading these. He has to know what kind of life he will be sharing in his future.
Como la lluvia de Tatlo, you look downward at the ruins instead of up at the Huitzilopochtli sun. Top decapitated like Laguna Coyolxauhqui, the serpent le falta escalones, ruined estructura, españoles, wrecked rock, repurposed the rubble para su palacio de asco. This one's called Sacrificing You to Mictlantecuhtli. The god of death's liver delivers. Your cloudy blood, sanguine ooze seeps para alcanzar Mictlan, his palms halting the rebound breath like a victim, pero tú mueres. This is called Agustín Ocampos' Desesperación. Apropiación de antigüedad, neoclassical, non-clerical, marble crouched, desnuda boca abajo, faceless woman, se pone vulnerable. Rivera, sinceramente. Lucha de clases sociales, convoluted and spiraling, centered, una águila. Propaganda, public, mural, historical content para redefinir México, narrar, to evoke orgullo nacional. Figures not hyper-realistic nor idealized, son personajes. From colonization de derecha to la izquierda revolution, íconos como Marx existen. Luis Cardoso y Aragón critiques que Rivera's superintelectualización defies the proletariat. Resurrección de Lázaro. With both stiff light and stiff shadows, expresión teatral Luis Cardoso y Aragón argues. José Clemente Orozco's expressionistic figures huddle around with popping eyeballs, pale and ghost-like, to see a skeleton arise alive. Jesús parece como una estatua sólida, stoic and composed. Lazarus sits on the ground, viendo el cielo, arm in motion without reaching. Carlos Las Dos Vidas. Texture of the textiles so delicate, yet the posture of open legs in front of dark clouds. With a European dress stained with blood and cut open heart, dual autorretrato of mestizaje left and right with an indigenous apparel, blood-free and unstained, a whole heart. March Sunday, Domingo de Marzo. The humans look statuesque, beastly because their unshapely heads, dream-shaped checkered, fish as a figure on the pond, not in the pond, 9 human spectators, and 2 birds and a snake. Red architecture surrounding, dark clouds loom over the scene, Carrington's balance of color and composition, centered yet centrifugal. El pez atrae la atención, negro y blanco y grande, tiene oreja humana. Unknown is the certainty of what exactly is happening, lo que es, no lo que está. Fusión 1 y 2 por Ereván. La composición de movimiento, perplexed rompecabezas, pero son rompecuerpos. On a photographed couch, intimacy distorts fragmentos de los cuerpos, queer with wooden edges circulando. Same-sex portrait by Graciela Iturbide. Sex barriers, the me pongo enraged, que él sufrió castration. El chaparro le chupa el pezón con sonrisa surrounded by fabric. And this is the last one. Madame Paulette y sus amigas. Dos fuman, una juega con un gato. The painting adentro de la pintura possesses a Picasso-esque portrait. Amarillo, azul, negro, rosa palo. Francisco Ochoa's 7 drag queens. One stands while the rest sits. The curtains, furniture, and rug son rojos. The color of dresses resalta. Verde, verde y blanco. La que está en negro con el gato opens her legs. The viewer sees privacy exposed.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda. I'm originally from Houston. I'm back after 10 years being out of town. And I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is the beginning of a big project, and I'm excited to share with you. There's a little bit of participation involved, and really just involves finding partners. This result, again, by witnessing partner beat, and then I'll say switch and guide you from there. one more deep breath together. Take one more deep breath together. Thank you,
Sunday morning. I'm not sure which mask I should be wearing right now.
You threw them all
I don't
away.
think I have one on. I'm a little afraid. Thank you, everybody, for coming. These things don't happen without everyone coming to be with it. And I'm still like through the moon. I can't believe people come to this, and it really warms my heart every time. And I want to encourage everyone to come back and submit, and if you have any ideas maybe like to be a part of this, I'm open to any and all ideas. I have a mailing list up here that I put down. You can put your name and email. I want to say thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of the performers. It was wonderful. Thank you to Aga. Aga's work is up. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but Aga had come with their work, and I think it's really well for their birthday and the baptism. I want to say thank you to everyone for being here for the baptism. Where this goes now that it's pure, I'm not sure, but we'll find out. Stick around, drink some coffee. We have to eat this cake. Some of you might know I won the reusable bag raffle at Trader Joe's, and there is hope. There is hope for everybody. And this is for the people. So please. Third Sunday of the third month, on the third day is the third month of the year. So, and 2019 is divisible by 3. Alright, everyone, enjoy your day. Thank you.
So your plans for Spanish words or names?
There were a couple names in there, but mostly words.
Yeah, I don't know Spanish, but like musically it was good to listen.
I'm gonna read. Anybody want cake? Nice to meet you.
We're gonna
split ways.
There's like Asian board game that's happening and
Solar.
Have you been to Knoxville?
I've been there.
Julia bartends every other Sunday, and she has like a happy hour. Nobody's there before she's and then she's only bartending between noon and 7, and it's like the deadest time frame.
The stickiness.
So she's been given the space to like do like work and stuff.
And I got my
I know the names now, but I wasn't sure that it's her. Like maybe someone
I want to go from the doctor. He's probably gonna get his doctor in here. To be just tight as hell. You're having a hell.
You know what? Use one.
That might be all you get.
Here, why don't you drink this? If you don't want the
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Very, I like the sprinkles, but I'm into those guys, so you might not want to. I mean, yeah, literally, like,
I'll bring more.
Oh.
I'll bring more. I know. Thank you.
I did. I felt a little bit.
Yeah, we just would want to do that,
Staring at me.
I was like,
Oh no. Yeah.
I got a little bit.
Really bad. I gotta turn off the recording. I forgot about that. Do you have a microphone?
I don't need a microphone.
Okay. Let me know when you need it, and then of course yours. So, just so long as you don't need it too close to the face Sunday of the month, so it gives me a little bit of time to like go out in the world and find it. Yeah. Not hanging up the street, but I'll put up the documentation and I'll do the sound in terms of like the recording, because I don't want to step on your toes if you have this process or whatever. But for me, it's like it's published elsewhere, it's okay. Just so long as we give a credit to it. But otherwise, I'll let you know before I put everything back Yeah, I started to think more about it, but I wanted to and then I realized that I have to know you because you perform in some of the nameless sound, so I never met you, but I'm not sure I've seen you on stage with some other interactive, like bigger groups. You do only poetry or also some vocal
About what?
you know what I reading the poems. Yeah,
I feel like you can sound so good, and like it feels like we all have like there's like a kindred and then you have to start
No, it's like a it's almost like it has these little blocks and you pick up the different blocks and it's for a class, but actually my professor gave it to me to do that. So there's a couple more blocks I think it's great. You did and I haven't got my working yet, but it's like Wally and like Varsity when it brought down like it's
I think you got great. And they like you so much there. You just want to
She may have a yeah, she was so good.
that was so good. My interpretation of the same the whole reason
Yeah, I would have liked to go cover.
and like already had and it's like going back to school and trying to but when he's like so like Jeffrey's dad I'm like yeah.
I actually feel okay after all the crazy stuff about the library last night. I thought I was going to feel really bad, but I'm actually okay.
What did you
people went out to karaoke. And I was like, yeah, I'll go to karaoke. Yeah, I'll go to a bar afterwards. Yeah. I did Hey Ya, and I did I Want It That Way.
Oh my god, so you were
Yeah, well, we had a private karaoke room, so it was like everybody was doing a bunch of songs.
Yeah, when it's with like friends.
Yeah. It's funny, everybody, when we start up, everyone's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And by the end, everybody's like, yeah.
It's my turn! Like, I've never, my videos
Well, this, if you're ever looking to get, do something, like, I would highly recommend this place.
I think it was called like ATV.
Yeah. No.
And then actually my old boss at that
I'm not sure that that's what it's called, and Mel knows what it's called. I don't see Mel,
So I was writing for her company, and then they laid me off in December.
Yeah, but it's a super fun place. It's like, I think it was like, good on you.
I was like, what? And then so my boss laid me off, got me just to
See ya.
I used to go every weekend.
Rest, of course.
And just say, yeah, I was surprised.
I have a really expensive petting zoo part where you're not really animals, you're just in a crowd. So like there's
Very little goats.
many little goats, many baby pigs, many baby sheep. It was the highlight for yeah. And they also have lots of live birds. Like they had when we were there live pigs birds, live half just like happening in one walk by. Yeah. And I had a friend who's there, so I had to try to find these meat. It was really gross because the cheese get liquefied.
I imagine that's part of the appeal.
No, I was so disturbed. Was he biting to it? Yeah. It was down to
She played the rodeo?
She beat the record. She like independent. She called it out too. Like she posted on her Instagram. Garth Brooks is the next day. She like beat Garth Brooks. She like circled it a bunch of times.
That's trouble.
He's like
I got friends in ways. Somebody did it at karaoke last night.
So before that, it was Selena who had some. And then it was and we went back to women. I had to work on Friday night, but a bunch of my superiors skipped the event to go see Cardi, and I was like, this is not right. Thanks for sharing.
I just like when I heard that, I immediately imagined Cardi B performing on
more books from her.
She's female Catgirl. She had like the blue Catgirl, like pink and blue and she was here. I listened to this, is not a joke. I listened to her, I cried. I just like walked around and I cried. And I don't know what it was about her that vexed me so much, but like,
people think about their
I guess so, like,
when I'm writing about
it just makes me weep. Like, I went to a
basically like early Pennsylvania, so like Pennsylvania and 18th.
I get what you're saying, like when it's somebody has like feel they're so like they're so completely in their attitude and they're just like doing it, you know?
Like she has this one song where she sings like "Party Got Rich, Stay Upset," and that one especially just like triggers me. Like I'm just like she did get rich. She did. Brianna does that to me too sometimes.
My favorite
Party is the time that I'm late is when I leave the house to West. That's just like, yes, that's makes me very happy. Also, she's part Dominican, so like she could be my cousin. We share a last name. Yeah.
You should just tell people that.
You should.
You should move that from a possibility to
Part of it is like my seventh cousin.
Thank you.
Did you really? Oh yeah.
It's very nervous.
It's bananas. Yeah, I wanted to do that for a while, and then I was kind of afraid about the DNA thing. I was like, they probably already have my DNA.
That was great, Harry.
Thank you. Or whatever.
Happy to see a hearing creation for the first time.
Sorry.
First creation is probably,
Whatever.
I don't know.
I was dumb enough
When I
to do a
graduated
crime that was just for me. I just, when I knew you were like, oh, that and that
Matching.
because
You can tell who
They got the
our
You did a read reading from a non-fiction book, and everybody was.
But what can I say? Your taste is not.
What do you have to do today?
you should definitely do
Eventually, ice cream.
This part was great because it was meant to be like deliberately like exciting and like.
Well, that's the last day of that exhibit at the station museum, so I want to go check it out.
The castles?
I really like how you described
So, well, it's like at the station. It's like I don't know. It's something. If I remember correctly, it's like by some transgendered artists and stuff like that.
This is the castles one. Sam went recently and was like.
I don't like stuff. I don't just like actually.
Well, you want to come with us? We're gonna go later.
No, I gotta keep it.
No, I don't know. Do we have time? My phone. 12:30. We can actually walk there if we like to do. Get it out of the way. Go to brunch. Recording I made at Fragment. Is that too late? No time like the present. Ryan said he might come to this, but I guess he probably slept in. I guess.
I've only seen Ryan awake at this hour. He's been awake since like.
Yeah, I'm always hesitant to be like, hey, you know, just like.
I know, we kind of have this like meandering conversation.
Well, he probably has to go to work at 3.
Very abstract.
He probably needs a little bit of help at least 2:30.
There's no more pretzels. I feel so bad.
Our friend
that schedule.
Our friend is the master programmer.
Master control operator.
Master control operator. And he works like basically 12 hours Saturday, 12 hours Sunday. He started working on these recently. Now he does that too.
Yeah.
For the longest, that was his only job.
We were like getting
time.
PBS?
Yeah. You know, he just like.
I mean, mainly watch TV, believe it or not. But I think he has to do stuff. He has to cut stuff and edit, like line edit, like commercial breaks and stuff like that. One of the things he had to do is like that really because Charlie Rose, you know, was going around sexually assaulting people. They had to take Charlie Rose out of all their promotional material, so they had to do that for a while. Like it was like an emergency, like damage control. It's like Charlie Rose cannot say anything about giving to PBS.
Like for an extended period of time. I know that like animals like go threatened by that. So I feel like part of that there's like a wild physiological resistance to it.
It's very
Just to dungeon a little bit, just like dungeon access. I never heard this shirt.
It's this people in New York called EAA. They like.
She did it with a bunch of people for this project.
They started making them a few years ago, and I bought like a bunch of them. and it's a good thing because I stopped. So now I'm like kind of wearing through it, you know? But yeah, I love it. And I wish that they Where's my hat?
Beatnik haircut and everything.
You had to really get to know each other. And yeah, and it was super intense.
So, yeah.
We ended up being
Well, we have to break our lease. And then we have to
There's 2 bedrooms on Mountain. Yeah, the prices have gone up. It's like $1,200 maybe. And you know, we live like 3 blocks away.
What do we do with that extra bedroom?
Usually, like, as soon as they're making it, someone hops in there. And it's like pretty cheap for the area, and it has a washer and dryer, and
And maybe ended up suing her after that. That's one part of the story that people don't know as often. It was like, it had something to do with intellectual property, and it was like, I know. And then like they started talking again.
Yeah, I don't know that nobody's taking it. So I don't know what's going on. But also, like, that's the one that I lived in at first.
She's, you know, I'm not gonna weigh in on that.
Maybe it's the same.
I'm not for or against Houston or
Makes really bad noises, and they back to what they're saying.
yeah.
And
It's a park
I don't know. It's not like so much being downstairs.
I don't know, like
It's like
I live upstairs, like
You got a saxophone, right?
yeah.
The sax.
A little bit. It's I'm playing. I'm trying to play with Bex. Sorry, you have Bex? Sorry. Ellen, did you meet Ellen? Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm trying to play with Bex, and we had our first proper practice last night. You know? Yeah. We're making progress.
You just gotta find out what you're what's going on. I'm writing about and then like the first one, people like on the stage, I got the biggest walls, it's like when I reach into the stage. I think so. The same thing we saw last year. So like I'm looking at his life and you're gonna be a star.
It's very amateur.
They're gonna make us stop.
You gotta see it simulating, we both said that about stats, man.
yeah.
What do you know?
I feel like we're gonna stay in Desert School in New York and like the name and lights.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, you come like on a weekend night, and if you're here not on a weekend night, it seems like you're dead.
He sleeps. I feel like Brian doesn't sleep, he just lays in bed. He does have a way to play games, so I think that's actually that helps him. He seems to get off his comfort zone.
That was the thing for that guy.
Maybe I should just, I mean, like, him involved in something.
Sorry,
Are you still in the same place?
It's like the translator, otherwise, corners up. So she does like forensic shit.
Ren's probably into that.
I don't know how we'll introduce them. Even we have a fantasy and they spend a lot of time.
There you go. There you go.
A drill and chill section in English. We want to go check out the attics. And then you just have to
Good seeing you. Great.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Just like when animals get involved.
I think Austin having like little like two people with her, and they come back to society. Oh my god! I've had so many intense conversations about this.
No, Jeffrey made the yellow dip. You sounded like you got some authority over the. No?
I remember seeing that dude when I was shouting. This guy's like, what? Have you guys seen my man? And it was also like, what in the fuck is it? And like, no one understood really there. I was just like, I still very like openly like discussing that. Yeah. But no, like,
Okay, cool.
Michelle, that was amazing. Really, like, you put me in a state, it's very cool. I have like a deja vu moment with the first mention of my name. It's like 25 or 6 minutes. Have you read that? Yeah, I like that. But it came back and it was very cool. It was very awesome. Very awesome. Happy to hear it.
Yeah. Jeff's been really getting into it.
Familiar with
Just one song.
Wonderful reading. Yeah. I know that I've heard a form of that poem before.
Yeah, for sure.
my goal was actually to kind of like,
it's called Last Nightmare on
they're just
It's really just
I
like,
decided that,
yeah, I don't know. I think that there's no substitute for like, poetry that is just like as strongly felt as yours.
We have one on the Tuesday. Yeah, we have like one on, we have, somebody come on like Tuesday nights and it's meant
Wanted
to
to
be
share
here.
that.
Yeah.
You had a good time?
Yeah, yesterday,
well, we'll figure out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. I guess I've been to everyone. So far.
Very sad Have you ever heard these
And
Stone
it's
Soup?
like, it's been such a variety
Stone Soup, but someone got like
of
something
things too. I'm sure you
called
know
Stone
it's,
Soup.
it's always been like that. There's been music stuff.
No. The story I heard kind of is like these soldiers in like the Revolutionary War, they didn't have any like, so they made stone soup, like they collected stones. But it's an expression to be like, we have nothing left in the house, so like we're making stone soup. But I guess that's something very specific to.
Yeah.
Readings are sometimes hard for me. Like, I love poetry, sometimes
Like whatever you rather for everything that the kids are
feel like, if it's one reader reading for a long time, then I don't kind of wait
Yeah.
as much as I
like
with your kind of switching out. I feel like
we had first year last year for dinner.
better.
So you're like,
It's a very good amount of time. I agree. Like, yeah. I just, I don't know. to what extent this is, like what you said, but like, I struggle with attention, you know, like, I have attention deficit disorder, you know, and, I don't know, 6 to 8 minutes, 10 minutes, like, you know, that's about how much I have for most things. Although I was really concerned because I went to go see, I guess she was totally here when she came to Houston, I guess like a couple years ago now. And I was like, it's like a reading, and she's probably gonna read it for a long time. I hope I don't get bored. And I didn't get bored, and the whole time I was like super into it. Yeah. I like her a lot.
You can tell her she wants to say shoot the shit, but she's like shoot the.
Yeah, I was really curious.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, but she would make like.
Wait, was that?
notices.
Do you remember when we had that reading at Commune, or that show that we did at Commune? There was a guy from U of H.
Yeah, Joshua Gottlieb.
Is he here today, this morning? Okay.
No, but there was a guy out there who looked a little like, because his
Okay.
face is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that guy who was here, but.
He seemed shorter.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you guys shorter?
Like the 80s that are very like montage style?
Because also, yeah, it seemed to be with, he was friends with, in some sense, his person in the end who's also at U of H. So that doubled it down.
It's
for
not
me.
very obvious, he's not like.
What's your understanding of what?
I'd like to be more
Because he's
like,
quoting
to get to know more
actually the
people
whole movie
even.
is excerpts from.
Just expand.
Yeah, they, I think we'll make excerpts for Poison Girl, they always have.
And then there's wedding planners.
And so a lot of times we're going to Easter eggs, the kind of.
Yeah.
More than.
If you look at a bottom.
Or I don't know. But it's not like.
Their own monthly meetings.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I mean, you know, for myself, to like, you know, meet people, know more people in Houston-oriented people, but also for Jeffrey, for his, like, he's always trying to get more people to submit.
My work is so weak that I'm like, I will be.
Maybe I'll try to email Jake personally and see if he could like circulate it or something. He'll probably say no, but I don't know, I feel like the U of H band